On April 2, 2026, the world stopped for a toy company. Millions of people opened their phones and saw something unbelievable. Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Kylian MBappe, Vinicius Junior, four of the biggest names in football sitting at the same table. In just hours, the campaign exploded across the internet. Hundreds of millions watched it, millions liked it, everyone shared it. But almost nobody asked the real question: why would LEGO spend millions to make a football commercial? Because this was never just a commercial. It was a masterclass in psychology, nostalgia, controversy, and business. What looked like a 60-second ad was actually a 6-month trap designed to capture the entire football world. And by the time people realized what happened, it was already too late. This is the story of how LEGO fooled the whole world and why it was brilliant. To understand what happened in 2026, we need to go back almost 100 years. LEGO began in 1932 in a small town in Denmark. It was founded by a carpenter named Ole Kirk Christiansen.
A carpenter named Ole Kirk Christiansen was having trouble getting the wood he needed to make furniture. So he took scraps of wood and made toys for kids, which actually did pretty well. Turned that into a business and started LEGO in 1932.
At first, they made wooden toys. Inside the factory, one phrase was written on the wall: only the best is good enough. That was not marketing, that was law. There is a famous story from the company's early days. One batch of toys was painted with only 2 coats instead of 3. When Ole discovered it, he sent his own son to retrieve every toy and repaint them correctly through the night.
Experiments with different types of plastic toys. He built some stackable.
That obsession built one of the most trusted brands in the world. Then came the LEGO brick. The design was so precise that bricks made in 1958 still connect perfectly with bricks made today. Think about that. Decades later, still compatible. That level of consistency turned a small toy company into a global empire. But then, LEGO made a mistake. Success made LEGO overconfident. They expanded into everything: theme parks, watches, clothes, thousands of new pieces, endless product lines. The company became too big and too confused. By 2003, LEGO was reportedly losing around $1 million a day. Debt exploded. The future looked dark. A new CEO came in and described the company as standing on a burning platform. Translation: if nothing changed, LEGO could die. So they learned the most expensive lesson in their history. Do not try to create passion from nothing. Instead, connect to passions that already exist. That is why LEGO partnered with brands people already loved: Star Wars, Harry Potter, Formula 1. LEGO stopped trying to invent emotion and started giving physical form to emotions people already had. That decision saved the company. And it also explains exactly why they went after football in 2026. Formula 1 fans are passionate. Basketball fans are loyal. Movie fans love collectibles. But football? Football is different. Football has over 4 billion fans worldwide. It is the most watched sport on earth. The World Cup is one of the biggest events humanity creates. And in 2026, something else was happening. The 2 greatest stars of the modern era were nearing the end. Messi was 38. Cristiano Ronaldo was 41. For many people, this could be their final World Cup, and that creates something extremely valuable: anticipatory nostalgia. That feeling when something has not ended yet, but you already miss it. You know the moment is slipping away. And when people feel that emotion, they buy tickets, they buy shirts, they buy collectibles, they buy memories. LEGO understood this perfectly. They were not selling bricks. They were selling the final chapter of an era. Then came the commercial. Messi, Ronaldo, MBappe, Vinicius. 4 superstars at one round table, building a LEGO World Cup trophy. Simple, right? Wrong. Every detail was engineered. First, the table was round. Why? Because a rectangular table creates hierarchy. Someone sits at the head. Someone looks like the leader. But a round table says something different. Everyone is equal. That matters when you place Messi and Ronaldo in the same room. If one looked more important, fans would go crazy. The round table solved the rivalry before it started. Then came the younger stars. MBappe represented the future. Vinicius represented Brazil and the new generation. Two legends leaving, two stars arriving. Past meets future. That was not random casting. That was storytelling through seating arrangements. But then controversy exploded online. One question appeared everywhere. Where is Neymar? Brazil's biggest global star of the last decade was missing. Instead, Eligio chose Vinicius Jr. Fans argued non-stop. Some said it should have been Neymar. Others defended Vinicius. Comments flooded every platform, and that was the genius. Because every angry comment was free marketing. Every debate boosted engagement. Every argument spread the campaign further. But there was another reason. Eligio is a family brand, a children's brand, a gift brand. They prefer clean, safe, positive faces. Vinicius represented rising success, global popularity, and a fresh image. So Eligio traded reach for reliability and got controversy as a bonus. This campaign was not just about famous names. It was about geography. Each player unlocked a different part of the world. Messi connected strongly with the United States and Latin America. Ronaldo dominated Europe, the Middle East, and huge parts of Asia. MBappe connected France and Africa. Vinicius connected Brazil and South America's younger audience. Together, these four players represented over 1 billion followers and nearly every major football market on Earth. This was not a cast, it was a world map. Eligio selected faces that could speak to nearly every continent without saying a word. Now here is the twist most people missed. The campaign made it seem like all four players filmed together. One magical room, one shared moment, one historic meeting. But later, behind the scenes footage suggested something different. They were not together at the same time. Different schedules, different filming sessions, different days. In other words, the moment was manufactured. But here is why it still worked. Because people do not share reality. They share emotion. The idea of Messi and Ronaldo together one more time with the next generation beside them was more powerful than the truth. Eligio did not need reality. They needed belief, and they got it. Most brands run ads for 1 week. Eligio built a timeline. First, mysterious teasers, then trophy reveals, then the massive commercial, then player kits released for purchase, then wall art, then the World Cup itself, which meant every Messi goal, every Ronaldo headline, every MBappe sprint, every Vinicius dribble became free advertising for Eligio products. Think about that. The ad did not end after 60 seconds. It kept running every time football was discussed. That is not a campaign. That is a machine. There was one more detail. A child appeared in the ad and placed the final piece on the trophy. Most people ignored it. They should not have. That child was the most important person in the entire campaign because the child represented the viewer. Not Messi, not Ronaldo, not MBappe, not Vinicius. You. The message was simple. You are not just watching greatness. You complete it. You place the final piece. You own the memory. You buy the trophy. You join the story. That tiny moment transformed the audience from spectators into participants. And that is how brands create obsession. So did Eligio fool the world? Yes, but not with lies. With psychology. They used nostalgia. They used rivalry. They used controversy. They used geography. They used timing. They used identity. They took 4 football stars, 1 toy trophy, 1 emotional era, and turned it into one of the biggest sports commercials in modern history. What looked like a toy ad was actually a masterclass in human attention. And the scariest part? Most people still think they just watched a fun commercial. They never realized they were the final piece. So tell me, was this genius, marketing, or manipulation at the highest level? And if you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more hidden business moves, sports secrets, and the psychology behind billion-dollar moments. Because in 2026, Eligio did not just sell toys, they sold the world to itself.